Something remarkable is happening out there in the darkness. An object, older than Earth itself, older perhaps than our Sun, is now glowing with a brilliance that's sending shivers down the spines of scientists. It's 3I Atlas, the interstellar traveler that came from another star system. But now, something has changed. For the first time, telescopes across the world have caught it growing a tail, a shimmering green trail stretching for thousands of miles behind it. But what's inside that tail is what's keeping NASA awake at night. Before we unravel what 3I Atlas might be hiding, take a moment to join our growing circle of cosmic thinkers. Tap that like button, subscribe if you love exploring the mysteries of space, and tell me your country in the comments below. I'd love to know where in this vast world you're watching from, because what we're about to discuss could redefine how humanity sees itself in the universe. When astronomers first discovered 3I Atlas, it seemed like just another faint speck moving across the night sky. But its orbit was unlike anything we'd ever tracked. It wasn't looping around the sun like comets or asteroids from our solar system. It was on a hyperbolic path, flying in from the stars, never to return. A true visitor from beyond. That alone made it special. But the story deepened when telescopes noticed something else. It began to shine green. Most comets emit a pale white or bluish glow caused by water ice and carbon monoxide. But 3I Atlas glowed with an emerald hue so vivid, astronomers wondered if its chemistry was even from this solar system at all. That was months ago. Now, new images from NASA's James Webb Space Telescope show something incredible. A tail, forming rapidly, bending slightly away from the sun's direction. Normally, tails form when sunlight heats a comet's ice, releasing gas and dust. But 3I Atlas isn't behaving like a normal comet. Its tail is forming at a distance where the sun's heat shouldn't have that kind of effect. It's as if something inside it is reacting early, releasing material that seems to move against solar radiation rather than with it. And here's where things get strange. The tail's composition doesn't match any known profile. Spectral analysis shows faint traces of hydrogen cyanide, molecular nitrogen, and, perhaps most intriguingly, metallic elements that are rarely seen in comets. The ratios are off. The elements look engineered, refined. NASA hasn't made any wild claims, but one senior astrophysicist described it best. It's as if the object is exhaling, and what it's breathing out doesn't belong to nature as we know it. When I first read that, I had to stop and imagine what that means. Could this tail be more than a trail of dust? Could it be information, a coded signal embedded in particles, a natural or artificial fingerprint left intentionally? We don't know yet. But what's clear is that 3I Atlas is behaving like nothing else we've ever seen. It's as if it's waking up. Now, to understand what that might mean, let's look back to another mysterious visitor, Oumuamua. In 2017, it streaked past our sun, tumbling end over end, accelerating slightly in a way gravity couldn't explain. It had no visible tail, yet it sped up as if propelled by an unseen force. That's when Harvard physicist Avi Loeb suggested something radical. Maybe it wasn't a rock, but a relic of alien technology. Not a functioning spacecraft, but perhaps debris from a civilization long gone. 3I Atlas seems to be the opposite. It's not quiet and stealthy, but loud and reactive. It's glowing, flaring, changing. If Oumuamua was silent, 3I Atlas feels like a shout. But what's it saying? Scientists at Harvard and NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory have been racing to model its tail. Their simulations suggest that whatever's causing it isn't just sunlight. It might be magnetic interaction. The tail's particles appear to align with solar magnetic fields, twisting in a way that looks almost alive. Imagine a streamer in the wind, but instead of air currents, it's following invisible solar lines of force. Some researchers think it might be composed of charged nanograins, microscopic metallic particles that respond like compass needles to magnetism. If that's true, it's a kind of behavior we've never recorded in a natural interstellar object before. And then there's the rhythm. The tail doesn't glow consistently. It pulses. Every few hours, telescopes detect surges of light. almost like breathing. Could this be thermal cycles, internal cracking, or could it be something more deliberate? It's a dangerous thought, but it lingers in every scientist's mind. What if we're watching an ancient probe trying to adapt to our sun's energy, using its tail as a mechanism, not to flee, but to gather? Think of solar sails, the technology we humans are just beginning to master. Thin sheets that capture photons and use them for propulsion. Now imagine something far more advanced, made not by us, but by a civilization 1,000,000 years older. 3I Atlas could be using its tail as both shield and sail, harvesting power, adjusting trajectory, or even transmitting data. The very idea sends chills down my spine. Of course, skeptics urge caution. They remind us that space is full of surprises that seem impossible until they're explained. Some point out that the green glow likely comes from diatomic carbon, C2, a molecule that glows green when it interacts with sunlight. That's true for comets like Lovejoy and Machholz, but 3I Atlas's brightness and composition still defy those comparisons. It's simply too massive, too reactive, too coordinated. When I talk to astronomers who've been tracking it, their tone carries both excitement and unease. One NASA engineer put it bluntly, "This thing doesn't just drift, it behaves." And maybe that's what fascinates us most, the idea that we might not be alone, that the universe isn't silent. Think about it. Every civilization that's ever looked up at the stars has wondered if someone out there might be doing the same. For thousands of years, we imagined gods, angels, or travelers. Today, with telescopes and satellites, we're finally seeing what they might have seen, messengers from beyond. For many of you watching, this might stir memories of a different time, when Apollo astronauts walked on the moon, when Voyager's golden record carried our greetings to the stars, when Carl Sagan told us we're made of star stuff. Back then, we felt a collective hope, a shared belief that discovery could unite us. And maybe in moments like this, when something alien yet familiar appears in our skies, that feeling returns. Because what's happening with 3I Atlas isn't just science, it's a story, the story of humanity's eternal curiosity. It's about how every generation, from Galileo to you, has looked up and asked, what's out there? Now imagine this, deep inside that glowing green object, beneath layers of ancient ice and rock, lies material untouched since the birth of another star system. Perhaps there are isotopes that don't exist here, or molecules that hint at life's beginnings elsewhere. As its tail forms, some of that material is being released into our solar system, dust from another world drifting toward us, mingling with the particles that make up our skies. Somewhere in that dust could be the fingerprints of creation itself. NASA and ESA have already discussed possible missions. Though it's moving too fast for interception, some suggest using the upcoming interstellar mapper probe, launching in the 2030s, to study its path and capture residual data. Others propose sending a swarm of microprobes propelled by lasers to catch up within decades. The dream is alive because if we could collect even a single grain from its tail, we might hold in our hands a piece of another world. But here's where the mystery deepens. As its tail grows, the object's rotation has slowed slightly, a sign that the outgassing, or whatever is driving the emission, is altering its momentum. It's adjusting itself. That shouldn't happen naturally in this pattern. It's too precise, almost as if it's compensating. Harvard's astrophysical lab is running models, and so far none fit neatly within the known laws of comet dynamics. Every answer seems to lead to more questions. What if we're witnessing a transition? Maybe 3I Atlas isn't just passing through. Maybe it's shedding its shell, like a seed breaking open. What if what's inside is the real traveler, something dormant, waiting for the right light, the right energy, the right moment to awaken? It sounds poetic, even impossible, but remember, we once thought lightning was the wrath of gods, and that the earth was the center of everything. The impossible has a way of becoming truth once we have the courage to look closely enough. As I reflect on this event, I can't help but think of how interconnected everything is. The atoms in our bodies were once inside stars. The iron in your blood came from a supernova. Now dust from another world is mingling with our own, carried by the breath of the solar wind. In a very real sense, we're already part of this story. The universe isn't out there. It's in us. And that's the beauty of it. Every time we look up and see a new comet, a new light, a new mystery. We're really seeing ourselves reflected back. Small, curious beings daring to ask cosmic questions. So what happens next? NASA's instruments will keep tracking 3I Atlas as it nears perihelion, the point closest to the Sun. If it survives, it could brighten enough to be visible with small telescopes, a ghostly green lantern streaking across the stars. But if the heat overwhelms it, it could fragment, releasing even more material and perhaps revealing its core. Either way, what we'll learn will reshape our understanding of interstellar matter, of how star systems share their building blocks across light years. But maybe, just maybe, we'll learn something more profound, that the universe is far less empty than we ever imagined. So what do you think? Is 3I Atlas just an extraordinary natural wanderer, or could it be something greater, a vessel, a relic, a messenger from another world? Tell me your thoughts in the comments, and let me know where you're watching from. If you felt that spark of wonder tonight, that sense of connection to something vast and eternal, then you've felt exactly what drives humanity forward, the need to understand. So don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more journeys into the unknown, and share it with someone who still looks up at the night sky with childlike awe. Because one day, maybe soon, we'll realize that these visitors aren't coincidences. They're invitations, reminders that the universe has been whispering to us all along. And now, for the first time in history, we're finally starting to listen.